Chuckload of Comics is brought to you by Cold War Games, creators of Squarriors, Fight Your Friends, and Lady Death Last Stand. For more information, visit coldwar.us.
So, that's your comic books for the week, guys. Let's go ahead and break down this week's Nerd News. All right, guys, so our first story of the day is a movie review, a movie we've been waiting to see for a long time since we saw that first trailer. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The movie is directed by Andre Overdahl, co-written and co-produced by Guillermo del Toro. Basic synopsis of the movie, guys. The shadow of the Bellows family has loomed large in the small town of Mill Valley for generations. It's in a mansion that young Sarah Bellows turns her tortured life and horrible secrets into a series of scary stories. These terrifying tales have a way of becoming all too real for a group of unsuspecting teens who stumble upon Sarah's spooky house. Shauna, your thoughts on Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Oh my gosh, I was a huge fan of the books as a kid. Like, I bought them at every book fair, which, by the way, is kind of strange to think back on that these books were for kids.
No kidding. I never read any of these books.
I know,
and these stories
creepy.
Are scary.
And the art is insane. The art by Stephen Gammell. Like, oh my gosh, it's so good. But I loved this movie. It did so much fan service, I think, which is interesting, too, because I read on the internet that a lot of people were disappointed that there weren't more stories.
Really?
Yeah, but
I was shocked. I was really only expecting like maybe one or two, and they gave you like 5 or 6.
Yeah, totally. I mean, some of the most popular stories, like, the whole story is loosely based on the haunted house story, which ends up being the story that they're writing about Sarah in the movie. Mm-hmm. But then they also did the red spot with the spiders. They did the big toe.
Oh, that one was so good.
Harold, the scarecrow.
That was awesome.
The pale lady, which was also scary. And then a couple that they actually kind of mention, like honorable, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, honorable mention stories.
They didn't really do the stories in the movie, but Sam's new pet, they mentioned that, like the star Stella, the star of the movie. She was writing a story that's about a boy that has a pet rat with rabies, and that's Sam's new pet. They also touched on Mitai Doti Walker.
Yeah. I got excited when I heard that one. It's the only Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark story I've ever seen or read or heard.
It's so cool.
They said Mitai Doti Walker, and I was like, yes, let's do this.
And then all throughout the movie, they played the Hearst song, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, you jumped out of your seat as soon as you started hearing that Hearst song.
The beginning credits, they play the Hearst song. Like, it's just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then when they find the music box in the house and they open that, it's the Hearst song. I was like, that's such a good homage to that story. I love it.
Yeah, well, I give this movie a massive thumbs up. This might be one of my top 3 favorite movies of the year.
Yeah.
It was spectacular. I had really low expectations going. I mean, because love Guillermo del Toro. Mm-hmm. He didn't direct it. It was directed by Andre Overdahl. And so I was thinking, crap, it's not going to be, it's not going to have that Guillermo del Toro flair. It totally does. It feels like a Guillermo del Toro directed film. You can tell he really put his producer chops into this movie with the set decoration, the hair and makeup, the practical effects.
Yeah.
Really, really, really spooky stuff. And every single one of the stories, they weren't too long. They didn't get boring.
Yeah, no,
when they did individual little stories that were just like, 5-10 minute scary as hell little scenes, and then they would move on to the next one.
And it's so cool because there is a story. There's a plot to the movie. There's a start, a middle, an end, and it all ties together so seamlessly. It's perfect.
The thread that they use, the story of the Sarah Bellows house and how she tells scary stories through the walls to people, and like it's amazing.
Great.
The thread that ties all these stories together is just perfectly written, perfectly directed. Way to go, Andre Overdahl. Absolutely crushed it. Did you guys see it? Let us know your thoughts. Are you excited about a possible sequel? They do leave it open to where they could continue this because there's a lot more stories to tell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Did you see it? Did you like it nearly as much as us? Guys, I gave this movie an A+. Go see it.
Up. A+.
Without a doubt. Or you can go see Dora the Explorer this weekend. Your call. But I suggest Scary Stories.
Yeah, me too.
All right, guys, so our next big story of the day, Bill and Ted Face the Music. The movie doesn't come out till August 21st, 2020. We've been getting a lot of really cool set photos. This week we got some brand new ones. These are probably the best set photos we've seen so far because they offer some interesting little plot details. We're going to break them down and show them to you in just a second. The movie, if you're unaware, is about, of course, Bill and Ted.